sueldos a trabajar, eh? That one?
There are a number of cultural, and some of them are things that got by the censors, like you're talking maybe like the fingerprints line.
Yeah.
Somebody would say fingerprints or fingerprints. Got it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna write it.
The Heart of Darkness was also a Heart of Darkness, or the
Oh yes, Jeff Bennett, and Jeff Bennett, the lovely and talented Jeff Bennett, played Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
Your weird cuteness, man. Oh yeah. Oh, and we did good. I mean, they did Les Miserables. If you like, how about? Wasn't that absolutely ridiculous? And to this day, I had Steve and Julie Bernstein, two of the world-class composers from that show, on my podcast a few weeks ago, and we talked about that stuff. And you know, when you go down the list, I mean, Steve and Julie, just those two guys, their musical backgrounds are world-class composers. These aren't just guys that have written a couple of ditties for some jewelry store in the mall. They're serious composers, and we were full of people like that, on all sides of it.
Not to mention the late Richard Stone, who was the music team.
Richard Stone. Yeah. The term genius gets bandied around a lot, but Richard Stone was absolutely a genius.
Yeah.
And the amount of work that he accomplished and the legacy he left behind, at 48 he died or something, 47? Absolutely ridiculous. Amazing.
He insisted on recording the music for the show with a 35-piece live orchestra, and doing so on the same soundstage that Carl Stalling recorded the original Warner Brothers cartoon music. So we went on to recording sessions, and I was like, wow, I'm standing in the middle of my childhood.
Yeah.
You know how you guys are coming up to us and saying, you guys are my childhood? That's where I got to go. I'm standing in the middle of my childhood. Standing in
And if they had left me in the building, I would have said the same thing.
And they used the same grand piano. The exact same Carl Stalling used. They would tune in every week.
The wood paneling on the walls, it was unchanged. It was beautiful. Such a
Spectacular.
beautiful studio.
And you were amazed by the musicians, but you said they were equally amazed with
Oh yeah, it's freaky because I'd go down and watch the. Thank you for your question, by the way, sweetie.
Oh, thank you.
I'd go down and watch the. Them do the scoring things because you just don't see that anymore.
Yeah. Right.
And Yakko climbs up the water tower and the xylophone guy goes. It's the coolest thing in the world. So we'd walk in there, and Rich would say, "Come on out here, come out here." And, ladies and gentlemen, Yakko Warner, and these world-class musicians are freaking out that.
Yakko was in the...
They did, and I'm just going, dude, you're playing these 30-second notes on your fiddle. How on earth does that impress you? But, it's a mutual admiration society. We all knew that we were involved with something pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
Rich Stone gave me the baton once.
Did he really?
He went to give me the baton.
He gave me the finger once.
I was at fingerprints. I went to one of those recording sessions. I had my little baby son there, and my little baby son.
Little baby son, he was on his fourth gin, Ricky.
I think that's what maybe we instilled the love of music because he was actually there listening to a live orchestra.
Yeah.
At like 8 months old. And Rich said, "Do you want to conduct for a number?" And I turned. Wow. I said, "I can't. I don't have the training. I feel like dishonor the profession." I mean, he just wanted me to stand up there and listen to a click track. I would have been able to, and now that'll never come my way again. But what was really cool was those musicians, half of them were in the LA Philharmonic. And we made a point always, again, to expose our son to music, we would go to the Hollywood Bowl. And we had friends that had really like front row seats. And I was sitting there in the front row seat, and like, the cellist was like, "Hey Mo, come on up at the break." And he was giving me a whole thing, so I got to go up on the stage at the Hollywood Bowl, look at it, 18,000 people who were all going to the bathroom. It was really great. So anyway,
Cool stuff.
The show's brought some cool stuff.
Yes, sir.
Hi. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that
You're wrong.
See, I resisted doing that.
the production crew, that you guys had the idea of branching out into theatrical shorts with the Animaniacs characters, and for whatever reason, that only happened once.
No.
I'm mad at you.
But do you know why that didn't go forward?
Whether there weren't more theatrical shorts?
Yeah.
I can only assume it was some corporate decision. I mean, it's like kind of like, and I know, I don't know about in this room, but we probably all of us every now and then we'll get emails or texts or tweets or something saying, Mr. Paulson, would you please talk to the folks at Warner Brothers about having, Animaniacs, the fourth DVD released.
Yeah, I get that request all the
Yeah,
time.
and that's very sweet, but we have no sway over that. No, I mean we don't hang out with the folks in Warner Brothers marketing, and we have no idea why they didn't release that. I presume it's because of a Spielberg Warner Brothers
Yes, it's
connection,
an ownership thing.
kind of a complicated political relationship. But as to why there were no more theatrical shorts, rightly or wrongly, I presume they figured it wasn't cost effective. I mean, it is still, it's a for-profit business.
Yeah.
And having said that, Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and Freakazoid, not Batman so much, Batman and Superman are huge moneymakers, but honestly, in terms of the return on their investment, I can't imagine that they made a huge amount of money on Animaniacs, maybe over and above what they would do with respect to the airing of the shows, because it wasn't like they sold a jillion action figures. They were very expensive shows to make, like mostly with the music. Probably $400 or $500 grand per half hour, which is a lot of money. So,
And they basically did it because it was a labor of love for
Right,
Steven
yeah.
Spielberg, and I believe that the studio saw themselves as beginning a long-time relationship with him, which I guess never really came to fruition. He went off and formed DreamWorks instead. But I think that was like sort of a gimme to him. So they had the creative freedom of just throwing money at it, or rather, Spielberg had the creative freedom of Warner Brothers throwing money at it and just making a really good cartoon show for its own sake, and doing something funny rather than something that will sell toys. And you notice you don't get a cartoon in front of very many, movies these days.
Right.
So for them to say, well, let's spend, whatever, $200,000 to make a cartoon to go in front of our next Warner Brothers picture, they don't do that anymore. Then they know you'll come to watch the movie without a cartoon.
It's cheaper to show.
Unfortunately.
It's cheaper to show Mountain Dew commercials and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's a good question. I can only presume that's why it was.
Did they use cells on Animaniacs, or was it all digital?
So,
Who sells?
So that's also...
We stole a bunch of them. We got
Go ahead.
First off, all you guys, greatest voices. I loved Animaniacs. Maurice, I loved with, what is it? Harvey Birdman.
Oh, yeah.
Orson Welles, when you did Orson Welles. Incredible.
It's ridiculous.
And that is amazing to hear you
Yeah.
do that in person. My question, how many times did you have to do retakes for the country song?
One take.
What?
One clean take, and then they gotta sing it. It's amazing. Here's the thing though, he can't remember it. He has no, you ask him to do it, he cannot remember it at all. It's amazing, really. Go ahead, I challenge you to sing the Country of the World song. I bet you.
all right, I'll see if I can muddle my way through this.
Rent it up.
Let's see. It goes. Oh, that one.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, the Republic of Dominican, Cuba, Peru, Venezuela, Turkey, Venezuela, Bolivia, Argentina, Ecuador, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, most of it is in law. Uruguay, Suriname, Mexico, Barbados, and Ghana, Norway, and Sweden, Iceland, and Finland, Germany, now and Greece, Switzerland, Czechoslovakia, Turkey, and Greece, Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman, Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq, and Iran, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, Romania, Kuwait, and Bahrain, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Ireland, Portugal, Mexico, Denmark, and Spain, India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, Bhutan, Malaysia, Bangladesh, Asia, and China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Russia, Japan, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, Borneo, and Vietnam, Indonesia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria, and Ghana. But wait, there's more. Boo, Ronnie Lesotho with Malawi, Togo, the Spanish Sahara is on. Imagine Nigeria, Ghana, Nigeria, Egypt, Nigeria, Ghana, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, Malaysia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Bangladesh, Ethiopia, Guinea, Bissau, Madagascar, Panama, Cayman, Makanga, Bhutan, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Timor, Kenya, finish it, man.
There's kind of a fun little story very quickly.
Let's see the guys at the My Little Pony panel do that.
Somebody was saying, guys, My Little Pony. There's a cute story, but when that was premiered at Comicon in 1993, September of 93, you know, it was Comicon, giant room like this, and they played that piece. And there was a lady in the front row who appeared to me as though she was like Patti LaBelle dressed as a Klingon, which is redundant. And she said, I have a question for Mr. Paul says. She said, did you improvise that? And Tom Ruger looked at me and said, well, did you? I said, you know, I did. And I wish I could stay and answer more questions, but I'm going to improvise a song about everybody who's ever played Major League Baseball. I'm good, but I'm not that good. But anyway, thank you very much. So yes, I do know the words.